Welcome back, and welcome to the first ever double billing of the Kill Count series. Rotting and Dick are both trained killers, learning under the knowledge tree of man for years to eventually go out on their own and claim as many lives as they could, and following man's untimely passing, the time has come for them to branch out on their own and become their own heroes. Today we have two stories, the first being Dick's road to not getting hard by beating the Penguin silly, and the second being Rotting's quest to kill Face for making him forget his and Bra's honeymoon. But, for the final time, what are the rules when it comes to the kills? Well, every enemy that can be killed must be killed. Rule number 2 is that you shouldn't take this too seriously, and if you enjoy it, there's an entire playlist of these videos for your viewing pleasure, which I'll link down below. Rule number 3 is that kills are counted on a play-by-play basis, and there's no real steadfast rule for what counts as a kill. Veterans of the series will know that things where enemies are turned into human paste, fear multi-takedowns, inverted takedowns, and basically anything involving electricity are always kills. But aside from that, it's fair game, and since this is a two-man special, kills from both Dick and Rotting will count. And the final rule is, you have to like the video. It pushes the video into the algorithm, and it helps out massively. And of course, subscribe. It's free, easy, and you'll get a consistent stream of Arkham content, ranging from serious documentaries like my one on Two-Face and Scarecrow, to whatever the hell this is. So, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and let's get into it. We open with Dick in the aftermath of man's explosive passing. He finds some of the Wizard of Cobb's men playing with illegal firearms, and for this they must die. It's as simple as that. Dick drops in through the roof and uses a fear multi-takedown to instantly dispatch of 4 evildoers. He does this pretty effectively, and it's at this point I realise that Dick has electric penetration devices on him at all times, which would prove to come in fairly handy, as if we go all the way back to the Asylum, we know that electrical currents are lethal when combined with the weak hearts of Gotham's thugs, and so for Dick specifically, any enemy which is hit by even the slightest amount of electricity will count as a kill due to the rules laid out from Serial Killer Run Past. The kills continue with this big guy who Dick stuns and then beats down mercilessly as the man goes into cardiac arrest, and the same fate awaits his big buddy as Dick pulls the same move, leaving only a handful of thugs left. We use the Dick Blast to stun these 2 thugs before beating one down and electrocuting the other on 3 separate occasions, making sure he never wakes up. Dick finds a familiar looking van, the same type of van he sent man after back in Ham Knight's main story. He almost gets jumped, but thankfully his Dick senses start tingling and he manages to thwart the attacker, who eventually, after being under threat of electrocution and thus instant death, tells Dickwing that the Wizard of Cobb is about to be broken out of the GCPD, so he has to stop this. He can't let man's hard work on the night of Halloween go to waste. He heads over there and has to face the ghosts of his past as he walks past the man signal, which was blown up by man on that fateful night. He finds a group of the wizard's men trying to break him out of his imprisonment, but Dick swoops in and begins sorting them out, electrocuting this big thug and beating his ribcage into a fibrous powder, before catching this thug in a Dick Blast and knocking him out forever, and using a beatdown on the final thug to put him to a permanent end. Dick then finds himself faced with 12 armed thugs. How many kills does he get here? Well, I'll tell you. This section proved to be a little bit harder than I remembered, but once I got my eye in, I was able to guide Dick to a handful of kills. The first came when Dick got caught in the act and had to improvise, putting a massive electrical current through the onlooking thug's body before putting him down for good as he flipped out of the nearby window. Kill number 2 occurred when Dick re-entered the GCPD and found himself faced with another thug. He struck first though and put enough voltage through the thug to stop his heart. Electrocution combined with asphyxiation got our next kill before Dick successfully rage baited this minigun wielding thug into his trap. What is that trap, you might ask? Well, it's a boot to the jaw combined with a healthy amount of electricity directly into the brain. An unprotected poisoned Frankensteiner claimed our next kill, an electrical smack to the brain gets our next, and his friend meets the same painful fate, as the final 3 kills of the section come through a rapid fire fear multi-takedown. On the roof we find another group of 12 thugs trying to get their Oz out of the Wicked Witch of Gotham's castle, but they're about to get dicked. Dickwing drops in and says hello, freezing his first victim from the outside in, turning him to a Dixicle, patent pending. The next kill gets added to the counter when Dick palm strikes this ogre's nose into... It's like I wrote that. That's funny. Oh. The ogre's bomb strikes the ogre's nose into his brain and throws him into an active electrical fence. Oh my god. Next up is the classic throw and burn, named because he throws this man into these pipes and burns him to death, before Dick shoots this ninja to death. Dick's next environmental bomb strikes his brain into his nose. That's the best bit of scripting I think I've ever done. That's so funny. Dick bomb strikes the Dick Palm strikes the ogre's nose into his brain and throws him into an active electrical fence. Oh my god. Oh, that is... Oh, I forgot I wrote that. That's funny. Anyway, where were we? Next up is the classic throw and burn, named because he throws this man into these pipes and burns him to death, before Dick shocks this ninja to death. Dick's next environmental takedown comes when he decides he's had enough of this random thug who had done nothing to him, and he throws an AC unit at his stupid head. Again, Dick palm strikes a nose into a brain and fries this man against a fence again. I am truly a poet. He then throws this poor man into these pipes, killing him, and finishes off by roundhouse kicking this ninja's jaw off his skull. The Wizard of Cobb thinks he's made a grand escape due to Dick's deceptive nature, but unfortunately for him, he's wrong, and as soon as he thinks he's escaped, he's promptly thrown back into the castle and locked away forever, never coming back. Ever. So how many kills did Dick get? Well, he got 29 kills, which is extremely impressive for such a short outing. But what about Rotting? What's he been up to since Man's death? Well, let's find out after this announcement. I am extremely excited to announce that I was invited onto my new favourite podcast, the Gotham City Radio Hour, to talk about one of my favourite episodes of the critically acclaimed animated series, I Am the Knight. Myself and the wonderful host Patrick had a great time discussing the episode, along with a load of other little side tangents like how we became Batman fans, how we became animated series fans, and why exactly Batman punches so many crocodiles. And in even better news, my GCRH debut is out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts this Friday, so head over there and give it a listen when it drops. You'll get to know me better past my shit posting on this channel, you'll get some top quality Batman content, and there's enough content already there with people a lot cooler than me to keep you entertained, and a ton more to come while you try your hardest to get the Requiem for a Killer achievement in the Iceberg Lounge. So click the link in the description and go check it out. Seriously, it's exactly what you're missing. Anyway, let's get back into the video. So, Rotting, the boy blunder of the Mann family, a red and yellow stain on Mann's nearly flawless legacy. In his final outing in the Manham Killer universe, he decides to try and get revenge on Face, a villain he has a personal grudge against since because back in the Ham City, Face actually locked up Date Boy, which meant years later, Rotting forgot his and Bra's honeymoon date, hence why he's here being nagged by Bra about not being there with her. Rotting decided to sport a new outfit to get revenge on Face, a suit built for comfort and speed. This encounter is full of opportunities for kills, and we use this to our advantage as we rig this wall with explosive gel. We leave it here hoping someone runs into our trap, and there we go. Rotting's first kill. He then gets 3 kills by way of a fear takedown, the costume striking fear into the hearts of his victims as he slams them all over the shop before letting them die. He heads back up into the rafters and stalks his prey further. A medic walks into the killing field, and so Rotting uses a classic man technique as he rams the medic's head into a junction box, killing him in one of the most brutal ways a man can go, before again he heads back into the rafters to hunt. In a move I never thought we'd see again, in a moment of retribution akin to Vader's face turn at the end of Return of the Jedi, Rotting utilises an exploding generator to grab a kill. This was a truly monumental moment in the series. Rotting has done us proud, and because of this he'll get a new name. Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth Binder. Bin. He's going to be called Bin. Bin uses his newfound tactical know-how to delay taking this thug down until he's within striking range of a junction box, and well, you know the rest. A fear multi-takedown claims Bin's next 2 kills, a small addition but one nonetheless. Bin then uses his newfound vision of spontaneous combustion to blow this wall up, killing the man who walked past it at the wrong time. And the next kill comes when, after some light aura farming, Rotting slams the butt of this gun into this man's upper spine, ultimately finishing the room off by jamming the rot stick into the final guy's C1 vertebrae. He then interrogates the last man breathing and asks him where Face is. The man says Face is in the Face Star, a galactic ship made up to look like a standard mansion in the heart of Bloodhaven. Bra begins berating him for not getting to their honeymoon destination, but Bin knows he can give her the best gift of all time, a dead face, finally putting small good Harry out of his misery. He begins his assault on the Face Star by killing this thug standing behind this weak wall, using the classic man technique of blunt force trauma to the back of the skull. His next 2 kills come when he perfectly times this fear multi-takedown and smashes both of these guys to death using his man-taught brutal efficiency. And in the penultimate fight of the assault on the Face Star, Bin doesn't get many kills, claiming 1 right at the end. However, he does swing a few enemies round and then throw them at walls. I'm not sure how or why he does this, it certainly doesn't provide a tactical advantage, but it works and he wins. His next kill comes after Bin, in one of the most cinematic and also surefire kills of the series, pushes this guy out of a window which is like 30 feet up, holds his collar and falls directly onto him while still holding his collar. I don't care what you say, this guy has a crushed throat, probably like 30 other broken bones. He is probably the most dead someone has been in this series. Here we are, the final fight of the serial killer series. Bin's chance to take the mantle from man, at least for today. Bin begins the fight by jumping on this guy's chest, adding him to the count, before throwing this fan into this man. Bin then utilises the next fan on this guy, ending his life, before he moves around the arena and smacks the face off this dude's head using a shield. In another power move, he picks this thug up and rams his head straight into this spotlight, almost definitely frying his brain and taking the light from his eyes. He takes the rest of the thugs out and Face makes himself known, shooting Bin and knocking him down. He tells Bin he's useless, he could never be man, and he's glad he forgot his honeymoon because now he gets the final kill of the series. But as he monologues, the speaker glitches and plays the first second of my favourite song ever, which distracts Face long enough for Bin to jump up, catch Face's dropped wallet and jam the rot stick into his skull, cracking it and killing him, bringing the serial killer run to an end. Well, that's it. It's over, but we still need to know how many kills the 2 former boy wonders got in the final kill count ever. Well, in his final outing, the newly named Bin got a grand total of 24 kills. And that means if you combine the pair's score, they got a grand total of 53 kills in the entirety of the final episode of the Kill Count series. Thank you so much to everyone who supported this series, and thanks again to the originator of the series, Bartman27. Your idea spawned a whole universe of shitposts, and for that I am forever grateful. It's been one hell of a ride. For anyone wondering why we won't be doing Catwoman's Revenge, Harley Quinn's story pack or Arkham Shadow, there's 2 reasons. The first being an in-universe reason, and that's in the case of Cat and Quinn stories, they simply don't happen in the man lore due to them not being important. And in the case of Shadow, Man was already a super criminal at this point and had no reason to ever get himself fake arrested. Shadow was just a bad dream where Man tried to preserve life, and when he woke up, it faded into obscurity as another dream in a long line of bad dreams. The real world reason, and shut your ears if you want to keep the magic of YouTube alive, I'm so burned out with this series. Like, they take so much effort to make, and my brain is fried. The other reason is, I just feel like the shitpost side of the series has run its course. I don't want to be Arkham's Disney and just keep pumping out parts of a beloved series for the sake of money. However, there will be one more, and it'll be a supercut. A man movie, if you will. This will be a very long, seamlessly cut together video featuring all of the parts of the series, with some added lore in there for those that are interested. And most importantly, the official ending, which is only featured on a live stream, so stick around for that because it will be the ultimate send-off for Man, and a celebration of everything this series has been. Leave some love in the comments for the end of the Man serial killer series, and get ready for what's to come because it's really good. Thank you all so much for the support, and I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed, and goodbye.